Unleashed is releasing in about a month, and I think it's time we start going over some decks for each of the new legends in the set. Today we're going to be going over Jhin Virtuoso. Now Jhin is a really interesting legend in the Fury and Mind domains. Whenever you play a spell, if you've spent 4 or more on that spell, you banish it. And then if 4 or more spells are banished with his ability, you're going to put those in your trash, channel 4 runes, and draw a card. The most notable thing about this ability is that those runes that you channel do not come in exhausted. So really we're looking to play a lot of spells, make sure we're spending 4 or more on those spells, and getting that big burst turn of a lot of spells played in a single turn. Once you get to, 12 runes and triggers ability, we're going to be playing up to 16 energy worth of spells. So the battlefields that, this stock, remember, this is just kind of a stock list, a starting point. You're going to want to fine tune the list to fit your play style, but this is just a spot we can start with when the new set comes out. The battlefields I'm looking at playing are Void Gate. It's pretty standard for a spell heavy blue-red deck. Get a little extra mileage out of each of your spells. Forgotten Library. This is probably something, it's going to be, for the most part, exclusive to Jhin decks because we're looking to spend 4 or more on the spells and we're going to predict. So we're going to be able to get a little bit of extra filtering through our deck to make sure our draws are always going to be things we actually need for the situation. Lastly, Ravenbloom Conservatory. This one is one I'm still unsure of, but the premise is it's just going to be a lot of extra draw for us outside of having our draw spells. Now getting into the deck, the chosen champion for this build is the blue Jhin Meticulous Killer. This card is going to be played for just a single mind power if we've spent 4 or more on a spell this turn. So if we've played any of our 4 cost spells or 2 costs with repeat spells that we've spent 4 total on, we're going to play him cheaply. So this is a really cheap unit we can play out of the champ slot, and we're playing a total of 3 in the deck so we can play other copies as we get them. To go with that, we're also looking at some Plundering Poros as a 2-drop. It's really important to have some 2-drops in the deck. Plundering Poro gets us a gold token early on so that we don't have to recycle for playing the Jhin. Also helps with paying some of the power costs on things like Repeated Piercing Light and Singularity. The other 2-drop in the deck is Watchful Sentry. This is just a draw a card when it dies. It's very useful to help just keeping cards in hand since we want to be playing a lot of spells throughout the entire game. This is currently a 6 2-drop unit deck. Mostly 6 2-drops just to make sure that we do get a 2-drop, but we're not looking to do 8 because we don't want those dead draws later on in the game. Other units we're looking at are 3 Kaisa Survivor at the 4 energy cost. This is a great unit with Accelerate, so we can play her just on 4 if we don't have need to be playing any of our kill spells or draw spells. We have her. And then we also, on going second with 5 energy, we can accelerate her to get some draw. Very good unit. And then lastly, we're playing Thousand-Tailed Watcher. We're playing 2 copies of this. I didn't like 3 in the way the deck felt. Not a lot of times we need the Thousand-Tail. It's just, we're at 6 points, 1 unit on board. That Thousand-Tail can come in and end the game there. We have other might reduction for our kill spells, so it doesn't really come in handy for, say, playing Piercing Light and then playing this to kill something, because we could do that with Frigate Touch or Stupefy. Into some of the spells, most of these are going to be things we can spend 4 or more energy on, but there are 3 copies of Stupefy. I think Stupefy is just really good to have. 1 energy for that 1 might reduction plus a cantrip is very useful. There's a lot of times where you might just have that extra energy lying around, and so we can use this to make some trades in our favor early on, or just as a cantrip if needed. One of the new spells for Jhin is this Downstage Dramatics. This is 2 energy to draw a card, but it has repeat 2, so for 4 energy we can draw 2 cards. This is very much similar to something like Consult the Past, but we don't have hidden here. The benefit to this is we're actually going to be able to either draw a card for 2 energy if we really have to have a single card and we only have 2 energy left, or we pay the 4, draw 2, and this goes into triggering Jhin's ability. Along that same line, we're playing 3 Frigate Touch. Again, 2 energy, reduce might for a unit by 2, and then we can repeat this for another 2. Again, triggers the ability, 4 might reduction, similar to something like a smoke screen, but this is something we're going to spend 4 on to again go toward triggering that Jhin ability. Piercing Light is some removal in this deck. When repeated again, hitting that magic number of 4, and we really want to be at that 4 number. 5 is okay, 6 is okay, but 4 is really that sweet spot so that we can make sure we're just kind of having that combo turn where we go, for a lot of 4 energy spells. And again, this is our removal, something akin to Falling Star, but Falling Star doesn't fit in this deck just because we're only going to spend 2 on it. This is guaranteed 4. And then Consult the Past is just a little extra draw. There's only 1 of these in the deck. It's going to just help us get that little extra draw power. You can have some nice combo turns where you draw 2, trigger Jhin, get those 4 energy back, and then play 2 other spells. 2 copies of Jhin's signature spell, Curtain Call. This is a very versatile spell. I only want 2 copies because 3 felt just a little clunky for the deck. It's very useful in having a lot of different options to kill units at bases, battlefields, might reduction, draw cards. It's just really great spell all around. Deadly Flourish is another one of Jhin's spells. We have 2 of these in the deck. It's just another 4 energy, 3 to a unit. This can hit units at battlefields or base, which is very helpful. And then you're getting a gold token when you kill that unit, or when that unit dies this turn. So the spell doesn't actually have to kill it. That unit just has to die that turn. We also have 2 Rocket Barrages. This is another great spell that I've really liked in this deck. The power cost can be a bit awkward sometimes, but it's really worth it to hit for 4 in a base. It kills a lot of good units, kills unaccelerated Kaisas and other 4 might units. We can also utilize it to kill gear, so we have a little bit of main deck gear destruction, which is very useful. I don't repeat this very often because 8 and 2 blue is a lot to spend to get both, but there are some situations where that could come up, I'm sure. Singularity, it feels like a great 3 of in this deck. It fits what we're trying to do really well with the 4 or more energy into a spell. The recycle cost doesn't hurt us too much because we generally don't end up recycling that many runes. We have enough gold generation that we can pay some gold for these. I'm usually ending up having to float some power whenever Jhin's ability triggers anyways, just to make sure I channel that 4 full runes. But 6 damage to 2 different units is just really good for this deck. Card I'm really high on for this as well is Sky Splitter. Now this might look like an odd inclusion because it costs a lot, but the key to this is that the energy cost is reduced by the highest might among units you control. 2 of the units we're playing are Kaisa Survivor and Jhin Meticulous Killer. Both of these have 4 might, so while you have one of these 2 on the board, this is going to cost 4 and 1 red power to deal 5 to a unit at battlefield. Just a little bit of extra removal, and one of the main benefits is this is action speed removal. If you notice, all the removal in this deck is the slowest speed. Deadly Flourish, just slow speed. Piercing Light, slow speed. Rocket Barrage, slow speed. Singularity, slow speed. You can only play these on your turn when there's nothing else on the chain, which does hurt the deck just a little bit, right? You're having to play everything on your turn for the most part, not your opponent's. You can do stuff like Frigate Touch, Stupefy, downstage Dramax on your opponent's turn and draw cards, which is great. But having just a little bit of removal that can play action speed still is going to cost 4 if we have our biggest units out. It's just really useful. And then there are times where you'll have like a Thousand Tail out, and that 1 extra you can throw into the Sky Splitter just to remove something and have the Thousand Tail accelerate. That's also can be useful. Even if you're not triggering the Jhin, it's still a useful play. Going back into some draw, there's 1 progress day. I've only put 1 in here for now. I've liked it at 1. It's just, again, a little bit extra draw for that combo turn where you can draw 4, channel 4 with Jhin if this is the 4th spell, and just have all that extra fuel in your hand. The problem with it is a little greedy and a little slow, so that's why there's only 1 in the deck. If you play too many of these, you can get your hand clumped up, and faster decks are going to just have a field day with you. And then lastly, 1 Time Warp. This does not trigger Jin's ability because Time Warp itself has to be banished as part of the ability. But this is a great card to just have as a 1-of. You can just win some games with this. You go to 7, play a Time Warp, hold to 8, and just win off that. Now going into the sideboard, sideboards are going to be very dependent on what you expect the meta of the event you're going to is, but this is just something I feel like looks like a general, just good against the board, just standard sideboard for this deck. We got 2 Bryn here, Thunder Songs. This is just a really good card to be playing in red. If you're playing against a green deck, you can just side this in, play this before you want to kill some stuff, and they can't counter your kill spells. It's really useful. 1 more Curtain Call, just because I like the thought of having a 3rd one in the sideboard just for a little extra utility. If you just need to, like, man, I wish I had 3rd Curtain Call for this matchup. Well, there you go. Thermo Beam feels like a great 2-of just to kill all gear. We don't play any gear in this deck. And against any equipment heavy or other gear heavy decks, we can just destroy all the gear and have no worries. This also, again, triggers Jhin, 5 energy, so we do get that trigger, which is really nice. 1 Progress Day in the sideboard just for against other control decks. Usually can be a little greedier against a control deck. You could like side out the Sky Splitters because in Control v Control those don't seem like they'd be very good. So you can side those out, put in another Progress Day, just a little extra fuel. Unchecked Power. This is really something I want to try out to target Vex decks. I think Vex could be really strong with its ability to hold really well, and they want to have, you know, battlefields just clustered up, lots of units on the battlefield so you can't break through it, and they can draw extra cards. So against something like a Vex or any other really hold deck that wants a lot of units on battlefields, this Unchecked Power could go really well on just clearing the battlefield so that you can, you know, deal with those in a way that your normal single target or even just Singularity can't deal with a big board of units. And then finally, 1 more Time Warp in the sideboard. Again, something against like Control where you could, you know, Time Warp and maybe do a double Time Warp if you have enough gold, or get enough get a trigger off Jhin. After the Time Warp, you could, you know, definitely get some double Time Warp turns in. Usually you can float 2 to 4 power when you trigger Jin's ability as well. So there are times where you can like have, you know, 10 runes up, play a spell for 4, float some blue runes, channel those 4 you get back, and then you still have the Time Warp spell, which is Time Warp energy up, which is really useful. So again, this is the basic deck list of what I could think is a great starting point for Jhin. Now let's take a look at some games. I'm going to try and showcase a few games that really show what the deck can do and what the deck's about. So let's take a look at the games. Okay, so this is going to be against a Vex. This could be a very, very tough match. Generally don't like playing against the Vex. When Vex gets onto a battlefield, it can be very difficult to get over that battlefield. So I guess we're going to go first. That might help us here. Playing Start at Peak. So let's say Mulligan. I do like Singularity. I don't think we can keep it here, though. I think we need to get rid of... I guess we keep Stupefy and get rid of those. I do like Singularity. Maybe there's a world we can keep it. If they ever tap out, maybe we do have some room to kill some things. So I think we just get rid of those. There's at least some removal for base. I could just draw a card here. I don't think I like that, so I think we just pass. It's not preferred, but do have some early removal for base if we need it. As long as they don't have Defy. Not sure I care if they defy this, to be honest, though. I won't be able to play Jhin afterwards. I think I go down too many runes to do that. Let's just go for it. Counter 1. Sure, let's play the Jhin. I think we just play the Jhin. We'll send the Kais to the bottom, I think, honestly, and then we'll pass. The reason I'm sending the Kais to the bottom, I already got a couple more units in my hand. So I don't think we're going to really need to have that Kaisa. I'm probably going to end up playing this next turn, to be perfectly honest. They could play their Vex, which is probably okay. If we get something to remove the Vex, I will. Shield. You send enemy unit at a battlefield, you may move me to that battlefield. Okay. Let's start by going here, going to 1. And I think we're just gonna play out this Jhin full price. I think it's just worth doing to get the vision trigger. I think I like that. But I think we're gonna send it to the bottom. There, they can stun this and then it will go over, which is kind of good. Yeah. No, you can't do that. Wonk is only attacking units. Thwonk can only stun attacking units. So I can play their Vex out and still have enough for Not So Fast, which is a little annoying. Not So Fast is a really tough card to play around for this deck sometimes because you're doing a lot of targeting things. Sure. Preventing me from holding. I guess if they play their Vex here, they're going down to a single rune, so they cannot counter the singularity, which I'm 100% doing right here. Or not, I guess. That's kind of that kind of sucks. Well. Sometimes you get too many of one color. I really needed that second blue there. The second blue and we singularity take out both the Vexes. I mean, I guess we can still piercing light, but it can be defied. That's the only sad thing. And we're gonna pay so much in deflect to do it. We're gonna go down 4 runes total, which does not feel great, especially if it gets defied. But I think we kind of have to do it. She dies as well. Then we'll play a Poro. It's very painful to do that deflex. We go down to 2 runes there at 7. We'll get hopefully 1 back off this if we can actually hold. I turn a treasure hunter. Okay, so they're not heavy on the units here. That's good for us. Technically, it'd be the red one that's exhausted, but I don't think it really matters here. I think we're gonna come here. That's your own battlefield, man. Go into 4. Create a gold. Don't really want to give them for free, but I feel like we just have to move this back. I guess we're gonna play out sentry. Play out sentry. Giving them this for free would suck, so I think we're gonna have to make them spend some buffs from hand, honestly. I think that's the way to do it. Make them spend some buffs, and you know, maybe I should have played sentry here and here, just loading them up, that way they could, you know, die and I'd get the sure. Maybe I'd get, you know, draw, and they can't do that. They'd have to send the treasure hunter in as well, and they die. The treasure hunter would die, but that's okay. I think it's okay, because what we can do is just send both of them in next turn, depending on what their hand size is like. To take out the die turner, they can. They do have the stun attacking as a thwonk, so I mean, it's not ideal. If we really want them to die, I can do that. We also do have the singularity we can utilize to kill some things, or try to at least, if they don't have not so fast. Again, not so fast does kind of hurt us here, but did tap out a couple turns ago. Not leaving 2 up, only leaving 1 up, thinking maybe they don't have not so fast. They've had a couple draws since then, so they might. I think it's a risk to take. Sure. Makes them use it. They can't use the gold for it, makes them use it. We can go both of these here. I think is fine. Send one of those there. And send both here and then move him here. That way we can utilize him to attack the other side with a watcher if we need to. And I think we're good there. This does give them a Vex draw. That's okay. I think 1 Vex draw is not bad. I'm not sure what they could possibly have for accelerate. I'm trying to think. There's not a ton of accelerate units in that color, in those colors that are worth playing. Tasty Fae Folk is one of the few they could probably have, and I'm not sure it's worth playing that. Sure. So the sky splitter's kind of nice. We could accelerate the Watcher and sky splitter the Vex. That can be not so fasted. If they have another not so fast, they have another not so fast. Yes, I'm at 6. It's fine. Let's think. Does put us to 7 if we do it that way. Chances of them having another not so fast are relatively slim. But they could have it. They could just have everything they need, you know. And at that point, we wasted the Watcher. We've wasted the Sky Splitter. Puts us down 3 runes, down to 7. I think it's okay. Because we're going to go up to 7. I'm not sure if they can get through both battlefields. The other option is to draw 2 cards, but then and hope we get another 4-cost spell. Only thing that would really do for us is go to 5 runes, which isn't really enough, so I think we just go for it. 7, 8. Accelerate the Watcher. Sure. No, they're not so fast. I think we make them use the Thwonk. Shield. We're gonna make them use the Thwonk if they want. If they're gonna, you know, if they want to keep that, they're gonna have to use the Thwonk. It's fine. Make them use stuff. And turn there. I'm keeping these here because I would like to trade with some of their stuff and draw the cards off this. The draw might be very relevant for me here. Coming up. The biggest thing we can do here is just force them to get cards out of their hand. Frigate Touch is nice. Downstage Dramatics is nice. We can downstage Dramatics next turn and then go for a Frigate Touch. Okay. So this thing I hate a lot. But they're down to 1 card in hand. Alright, that's putting us in an okay position. I think that puts us in an okay position. So a couple things we can do here is we can kill this. I think that's worth trying. I think it's worth trying to kill that. Doesn't have deflect. If they have defy, they have defy. Gets the last card out of their hand. That's fine by me. Discipline. Thinking. Yeah, that's fine. Move. 4. Float. 1. Red power. We'll float a red here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moved. Discard, 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 discard. I think we go ahead and repeat the Frigate Touch on this. It's not ideal, but trying to yeah, I think we repeat it just in case they have another discipline. Well, let's think about that. I really want that gone. I can just go in there if they move this, stun it, discipline it, that goes up to. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think we just 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we Frigate Touch repeated on that. Gets through a discipline if they get drew into another one. And we are definitely coming here. Going to 7. They're going to draw 2 off of hold. That could be dangerous, but I think we're good here. I'm going to draw off the hold and draw for turn. I'm trying to think what they could possibly get. They need a stun to move this over and a boost to get rid of it. And a third not so fast. I guess a discipline gets over the singularity as well. Sure. Okay. Okay, so they're gonna go to 7. Okay. Yeah, they just yep, it does nothing for them because they can't get over both. Just hold to 8. Okay, so it looks like we got a game against a Vi here. We're just going to start with Void Gate. I feel like it's a good battlefield to just go ahead and use game 1, regardless of going first or second. So Vi does have her signature gear, so we could keep the Rocket Barrage. Also like Deadly Flourish, Poro's good. Frigate Touch is probably useful here. Could probably just keep this, to be honest. Don't have any draw. We'll see how much that bites us in the butt. See if we can function without the draw. Hopefully we do get into some piece of draw. Them not having a turn 1 is good for us. Lets us open Poro, and the next turn we can open one of these to kill. If they play that, we can kill with this. Or they're gonna open Jhin. We will have to pay deflect for that. I think we go here. Create gold. Go to 1. Discard the Watcher to draw. I'd love to go Flourish and Stupefy to kill it, but that just doesn't. That's 2 deflect. I'm paying 2 deflect here anyways. I'm going down. Yeah, I think we're just gonna kill with that. Only thing is, I don't think we can play the Jhin now because that just puts us down too many runes. My hope is that we see them play like the Vi next turn. Because then we can go for the Flourish and then play Jhin with the gold. This does mark our counters and go and banish this. Make sure we get those triggers. That's the whole point of this deck. They will not be in the discard, they will be banished. See, Fiora and a Hopeful. I get the point of the Fiora. I feel like we just bring our Portal back. Kill off the Fiora. And play the Jhin with that. Really do like leaving Singularity there, I think, so we can just go and leave that and pass. Singularity should give us a lot of room to get some extra removal, so that'll be a good draw. We can take out the Hopeful, depending on what they play, maybe take that out. Battle X. Okay. So we had 2 left. They'll go for 8. So I didn't play anything else. Let's go ahead and go here. Go 3. Make gold. Yeah, 1, 2. Let's see. It's at 8. 8's a lot, so I'm trying to think. If we go Frigate Touch, we do lose a lot of our strength, but I think Frigate Touch and throw this in for a trade and see what he does. He could either Hidden Blade our thing or Hidden Blade his thing, or take the trade. I think both of which I'm okay with. Okay, so go to 8, kill that already and go home. That's fine. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll Frigate Touch, repeat it on that. We'll offer up the trade. I think I'm totally fine with that trade there. Pass turn. They have something like a Kaisa that could be kind of annoying, but sure. Would like them to play something else for me to hit with the singularity. Yeah, just like that. 6, 6, 5, 9. 6. Blue. Blue. It's best with gold. Then we'll go stupefy, draw, 2, 3, 4, 5. Kaisa, come here. 4, draw. Discard, draw, and pass. The Kaisa's nice. We got some draw working. Gem Jammer. Sure. Sure. It's a pretty good card. I think we'll just accelerate Kaisa, go for 5. Unsung. That's pretty good. Yeah, we'll kill the unsung. Gold. Kill the equipment. Right. Then play down a Poro. That seems pretty good. There we go. Took him a hot minute. Alright, we got the temporary trigger guy gone. Falling Star Aporo? Sure. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2, 3. Singularity him. 2, 3, 4, 5, and the red power for the Kaisa. That'll come here. 5, draw a card. Played the Jhin. Leave that there. Pass. We're in a pretty good spot here. I'm assuming they probably have some more removal for stuff. Pretty much just hope they're running out of units is kind of my deal here. It's kind of the way Jhin feels when you get the draw going, is you just run them out of units by removing their threats for most of the turns. Then you get a turn like that where you get to play Consult, Singularity, and then an Accelerated Kaisa all in the same turn. So if they don't move the Kaisa, we'll hold to 6, Jhin to conquer to 7. We can utilize Piercing Light to kill pretty much anything they play with hit Kaisa and that, hit Jhin and that, and then we have Might Reduction as well. In a pretty good spot. I feel like they got 2 cards in hand. I don't know what they could have for draw in hand. I'm assuming they have maybe a sacrifice in here, but no mighty units they've had because we did get rid of the gear. Hopeful, full priced. Oof. Falling Star. Sure. Okay. Taking out the Kaisa. Does take a little bit of our draw away. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. Paying an extra 3 damage to the Hopeful, and draw 1. Remove 1. Draw. Conquer here. Go 6. Discard a Frigate Touch. Draw 1. Play 2 sentries. That's basically game there. Hold to 7, conquer to 8. Alright, those are just a few of the games I thought really showcase the deck and what it's trying to do and some of its power. Make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the videos in the series, and let me know in the comments what you think of Jhin and if you're excited to play them.